Our next question is, Orem has seen a recent boom in economic activity and development. What economic policies and practices will you support and pursue if elected?
Everybody's interested in economic development. I'm interested in economic development. I am concerned as I see the thing that really kicked me into this candidacy was the guy that had the little sign over there on Center Street, where the city made him take it down. It was an 18 by 24 inch sign. The city made him take it down. It cost him $30,000 a year to not have that sign in place. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing things like that in other places, and people are beginning to say Orem's sign ordinance, Orem's zoning ordinances are discriminatory. They're hard on us. So, economic development, we need to have economic development, but one of the best ways to do that is to get the government out of the way. The government does not create jobs. We can solicit, we can be attractive and whatnot, but when we start giving incentives to everybody, not everybody, giving some incentives to people and making the other people compete on a separate plane. You understand that when we gave the incentive, $58 million incentive, that pushed that tax burden to all of the other people that didn't get the incentive. And so not only do they get to lose tenants to the people that got the incentive, they get to help carry the tax burden of those people that got that incentive. It comes to the point where people are discouraged by the fact that the government is not playing fair with them. That if you're the right person, if you've got enough money and enough power, you can have special things done for you in Orem. But if you're not, if you're just the little guy, then you have to lose $30,000. Orem needs to decide whether it really wants economic development, and if it does, it needs to get out of the way of the small businesses that are the staple that have been here forever. Thank you.
I think it's hard to look at economic development as a standalone item that the City Council looks at. We have to look at the whole picture, all aspects of what makes this city an attractive place. And why would businesses want to locate here? And why would people want to live here? There's 5 key areas that I think are important, that are part of my strategy or my look at in terms of making an Orem a better place. It needs to have the amenities and the things to cover these 5 areas. 1, a great place to live. Are we working on our communities and our neighborhoods to make them safer and stronger and a more appealing place to live? 2, is the work environment. Do we have the jobs that people can stay here in the city? Do they have the shopping opportunities to buy what they need? Is this a great place to work? 3, they have to have opportunities to learn. And so continuing to work with the education structures that we have, great relationship with Alpine School District, great relationship with our local universities, great relationships with the private schools to try to say, we want our kids to learn. We want people to locate here because it's a great place to learn the principles and the morals that we have here in this community. Number 4 is a great place to play. People like to enjoy where they live. They like the parks, they like the swimming pools, they like the Sira. They like opportunities for their children to perform and for families to go together to enjoy some time together. And the 5th aspect that I think is an important part of our community and part of the decision making that we do on the City Council is how do we help people do what they want to do. And again, we are fortunate to have a community that gives a lot of their time and volunteer efforts to help each other. Those are the 5 elements that I think are critical for us as the City Council to continue to focus on, to find ways to improve and to find ways to make this the best place to work, the best place to live, the best place to learn, and the best place to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Stefan, could I get you to get the poster that has the 430% debt increase on it? This is my 5-year-old grandson. We've talked about economic development again and again. I want to show you what happened when Orem City decided they were going to get involved in economic development. I believe the government should create private enterprise fields. And private enterprise is best when it is private enterprise. Orem City debt went up 430%. Its population grew 6%. Do you know why that happened? How we went from 25 million to 109 million? Orem City decided they wanted to get involved in economic development. They wanted to help it along. They wanted to interfere with private enterprise. They thought, well, we'll get lots of businesses to come here if we have high-speed internet. Well, that's our roof. Our debt went through the roof because of that. This little 5-year-old kid right here, he'll be 30 years old before Orem City gets through paying off the mistake that the city council made. Now that's a mistake. All you have to say is we made a mistake. Let's move on to other things. The city council recognized it. Took a while to do it, but it buried you. You pay $10.31 every single month. And that's going to rise up to a little over $15 between now and 2040 when he turns 30 years old. That's a mistake. And it was done in the interest of economic development. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate your willingness to stay here in Orem and help us pay that debt. He's a good little man. Well, I'll finish with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
So with my job at American Fork, I had to do a visioning statement for economic development. And basically you're looking at short-term and long-term strategies that you want the city to employ. The first thing I did with Orem when I looked at this was look at our sales tax leakage report. And what that tells us is where the areas we're not capturing the sales tax of our citizens. Now, good news is we're capturing a lot more in other areas because we're getting other people shopping in our area, but the area that we are not getting is gas stations and hotels. So that's an easy fix. You want to track those particular areas because we're not capturing what we should for our city. We have to have proper Class A office. You have to be able to track a high-tech company. And one of the ways we do this is through the Economic Development Corporation of Utah, which is a public-private partnership. Orem is a member of this organization, and they also partner with the governor's office. We create what are called sure sites. Sure sites are areas that the city has designated that are ready for business to move in. You do all of the work behind the scenes, you do all the utility works, and then when these projects come from the state, you're able to throw Orem's hat in the thing. And so we want to make sure we've got some great sure sites to do that. You want to look at workforce development. How are your people being trained? This is your MATCs, your UVU. You want to make sure you've got strong STEM so that when a company comes, you can say we have a qualified workforce. And there are no impact fees in Orem, and that is amazing. When I worked in American Fork, we had park impact fees and street impact fees and fees galore, thousands and thousands of dollars. We have none. That is amazing. We should be marketing that to businesses. You can come and develop in Orem with no impact fees. Now you have to pay a little bit to hook up to the sewer, but that is a market advantage for Orem, and no other community around here has that. I guarantee you Orem can beat American Fork any day on impact fees. So those are the kind of things that I would do.
And that's actually one thing that I've seen changing here in Orem. We do have developments coming in where there are impact fees with the Southwest annexation, for example. I'm thinking about two of the candidates and what they propose that we do about economic development. And what I heard was, do nothing. Just let businesses figure it out. Don't worry about infrastructure. Let them figure it out. Now, I don't think that financial incentives, tax incentives, are the only tool that we use to do that. I think if you build the infrastructure so that it's an attractive place to do business, we have a highly skilled workforce here with our two universities and plenty of other educational facilities here. This is a great job market to get a high-paying job, a career job, not just one that's going to pay the bills from paycheck to paycheck, but one where you can build a better life for your family here in Orem. I think it's important that, and Debbie, you touched on this, we're building an economic community here where there are businesses that will continue to thrive in our current generation and in generations to come. I work in technology. I worked in Silicon Valley. I worked for tech companies over in London. I volunteered with small nonprofits in Kenya. I've seen all different kinds of economies. I've seen what works and what doesn't. What doesn't work is doing nothing. Thank you.
you.